More about the death of the Free State Education MEC Tate Makgoe. We can get the reaction now of the ANC in the Free State. We're joined by spokesperson Jabu Mbalula. Mr. Mbalula, very good evening to you. Thank you for your time. Our condolences firstly to you as an organization. Tate Makgoe, in the clip that we just played, being hailed as an example of excellence in the public service, and I would imagine that you would agree with that tonight.
Good evening, Tembekile, and thank you very much for having us here, and good evening to your listeners. The African National Congress in the Free State is deeply saddened by the untimely passing of Comrade Tate Makgoe. Indeed, Comrade Tate Makgoe was a representation of excellence in every task he was assigned. He performed to the best of his ability. We want to convey our saddest condolences to his family, to his comrades and children. We can only say that the spirit of Comrade Tate Makgoe will live on in the African National Congress and will continue to emulate the good example he has set, which really reflects of what it means to be a cadre of the African National Congress.
And he was Education MEC from around 2009 until his passing in that car crash this morning. Is that excellence? In fact, let me ask it this way. What do you think allowed him to excel in the way that he did in that portfolio? Because the Free State, since he took over, has retained a position in the top 5 initially, and then ultimately in the top 3 and top 2 best performing provinces in the matric outcomes every year.
Yes, Tembekile. Comrade Tate Makgoe was an academic himself. He had several degrees, master's degrees, honors degrees, undergraduate degrees. I think in addition to his political training, he also immersed himself in educating himself, developing himself. And I think it is that knowledge combined with his political understanding that has put him in a position to understand the education sector. In the past 4 years, our matric results were the best in the whole country. And some of those students that were even amongst the 100 in the province are beneficiaries of his efforts today. Because some of them went to train as doctors in Cuba. During the State of the Province address, the Premier Policy Dukwana, who is also a chairperson of the ANC, did indicate that some of those students that were beneficiaries of his efforts are going to be employed in the social development department, and some of them in education department, and about 100 of them are now qualified doctors, and they would also be deployed across the breadth and length of our province. So Comrade Tate Makgoe, his actions really speaks volume, and it's a big encouragement to all of us, comrades and members of the ANC, that when we are given responsibilities by the organization, we should not look back, but immerse ourselves in the task at hand so that we can be able to produce the required results. The strategic objective of the ANC is to achieve a national democratic society. And to happen, a lot of things needs to be put in place. Delivering of basic services, which also include education, among other things, turning the economy around, also making a contribution to ensure that there is indeed job creation in this country so that we can be able to deal with the triple problem we face of inequality, poverty, and unemployment.
And Mr. Mbalula,
yes, once you are set.
If I can just come in there, I just wanted to speak to you about what happened this morning, because as we understand it from what's being reported, the car that the MEC was traveling in with his protectors crashed, apparently we're hearing, crashed into 2 cows near Winburg. It's a small town in the Free State along the N1 on the way to Bloemfontein. Do you know where he was traveling from, and if he was traveling for work or he had been on a personal visit?
According to the report we have, Tembekile, he was traveling from Johannesburg. He had work engagements there. We also were made aware that this morning at about 1:30 in the morning a.m., They collided with animals in Wheelback, as a result of which the accident then happened. Paramedics were called to the scene, and they reported that when they arrived, people were trapped in the car, and they had to use life of jaws to get them out of the car. Unfortunately, at that point, Comrade Tate Makgoe and his bodyguard were declared dead on the scene.
And have you been to see the Makgoe family? And if so, how are they? I mean, I can imagine they're devastated, but what has come out of your conversations with them today? There's the obvious grief, the devastation, I'd imagine.
Yes, the leadership of the ANC has been to the family. We will continue to be with them so that we can also support them in whatever way possible until Comrade Tate is laid to rest. Yes, the leadership of the ANC has been there this morning. Even the Premier, on his capacity as the Premier of the province, did go and visit the family. And so is the case with all other MECs and head of departments. They went to see the family today. We will continue to support them throughout the week, and as and when arrangements have been finalized, we will continue to make the members of the public aware.
And just back to his work then, because he has set such an example as a high-performing MEC, especially for a core function, a portfolio such as education. Have you, as the ANC and even the provincial government, led by your chairperson, started to think about how or what needs to happen to make sure that that momentum is not lost after his passing?
At the moment, Tembekile, we are really seized with understanding the moment. And the moment really is that it's a somber moment, it's a moment of grief, and we would want to allow the family and all our comrades in their own way to continue to grieve and support one another and the family and his children. The issues of replacement and other things, those will come later. You'll remember that Premier or the chairperson, Policy Dukwana, has just been elected and inaugurated last week, and he presented his State of the Province address on the 28th. He is yet formulate his cabinet. At that point, we'll then know what exactly is going to happen. But yes, in whatever that is going to happen, we would like to see a situation where the good performance that we have seen in education, that it continues unabated or it is not disrupted at all.
Mr. Jabu Mbalula, spokesperson for the ANC in the Free State, thank you for your time tonight, sir.